Tuesday! Taco Tuesday! It's raining tacos. And we're gonna eat pancakes. Because it's raining tacos. So on Tuesday, we talk about all kinds of fun stuff. And today we're gonna eat pancakes because it ran right into, I just finished making my kuma shake pancakes. So we're gonna plate them up and I'm gonna have pancakes while we chat today. And one of the things we're going to talk about, I'm so excited to see that you're here already. We're going to talk about Dori's dancing and where that came from and why I do it. In the beginning, my videos never had any dancing. And I will tell you guys that dancing in my kitchen like a crazy lady was always my thing. It was, I can't remember a time I didn't do it until my mom passed away. And after my mom passed away, I was sad and I stopped dancing in the kitchen. And it was one of those joys, I think, that you just take away from yourself when you're sad. And I did a live with a lady. It was funny. I had done the dinner live, and as soon as I signed off, she messaged me. And she said, "Oh, Dori, I know you're busy. I know you're eating your supper, but I wanted to share with you my grandma's favorite recipe that I converted." And I invited her to join me on a live. And when Kathy joined me, she was so excited. There was so much joy in her that she was literally dancing in her kitchen. And I remembered that I used to do that. And I remembered that I wanted to again. And I'm going to say that was mid-January last year. So if you watch my videos from November to January, there wasn't any dancing. Once upon a time, there was videos when Dori didn't dance like a crazy lady. So, because I didn't actually take any pictures of this yet, and now we're going to eat it, I'm going to just quick snap a couple of pictures for you guys for Instagram so you can see the pretty pancakes before we eat them all. And then I'm going to add the very berry lime compote that we made. And we made this with blackberry, strawberry, and lime flavor. So we're going to spoon some of this over top of our beautiful pancakes. I want you guys to see how nice they look. So pretty. And then we're just going to put our berry compote over. Now I'm going to do one pancake at a time because, let's be honest, Dori and small portions. So I'm going to put the sauce on one of the pancakes. And the others are probably I'm going to end up saving for Jacob later. So, and it's kind of fun. This rolls into what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And I wanted to talk with you a little bit about other people's ideas of what you do. If they're positive, if they're not positive, and how we let that affect us. So let's get into this pancake. I got to take another picture real quick. And then we getting into the pancake, baby. I'm so excited. These are my first kuma shake pancakes. So, Miss Joette, these are going to be so good. I am so very excited. And look it, I'm ready for springtime. I've got my springtime plate out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the spring. I'm so done with the snow. So what we ended up with is a tropical flavored pancake with very berry lime compote on it. And I'm going to get right into this so you guys can see how nice and fluffy our pancakes are. Oh. So yummy. I'm definitely only able to eat one at a time though. A couple pancakes with eggs. How nice is that? And just a fun, quick, easy treat that we can make up whenever we want. Oh my goodness. Yum. Okay, sip of coffee so I can swallow. And let's talk about the first recipe I ever made. Because, oh, Miss Joette, she's at an appointment, hanging out with us at her appointment. I love it. I bring my live weird places too. I've brought lives to Walmart and all sorts of places where I'm shopping. It's good fun. Yeah, people don't look at you like you're that crazy. That crazy. It's totally worth it to hang out with us though, just saying. Totally worth it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the very first video I ever made. I was super, super excited to make it. I will post it in the links. There is, the link is in the post I made last night as well. But I want to tell you, it was a 41-minute video. It was a little cringy. It is what it is. It was my first. But I taught you guys how to take flavor ideas and turn them into a mug cake. And I showed you my favorite mug bread tips. And when I made that video, I was so excited and I was so pleased to share it that I ran out and I shared it to the couple of Facebook groups that I was a member of. And that was when I discovered my first grown-up drama. And I didn't know that grown-ups behaved like that. I encountered a group of ladies who decided that based on the amount of time and the title of the video, that they didn't like it. It was a waste of time, it was stupid, and you can make an entire meal in less than 40 minutes, and nobody has time for that video, and that's just stupid, and you should just stop making videos. You should just stop. That's it. You made one, it was pretty shitty, you should just quit doing that. So I cried for 3 days, and then I decided I really didn't care what they thought. They didn't even watch the video. They didn't care to watch the video. They were only looking to hurt my feelings. And they didn't know me. So did their opinion matter? And I spent some time weighing it. And it was it was a troublesome time at my house. I won't lie. My man was very concerned for me. And he said, Dori, maybe this just isn't for you. Maybe you're too delicate of a person. Maybe you take things too personally. If you're going to cry for 3 days every time somebody doesn't like what you do, maybe you shouldn't do that. And I gave it a lot of thought. I really did. I contemplated a lot in that time. Was this something I really wanted to do? Was it something that mattered to me? Did I even have something to share with people that they couldn't get just anywhere? But it also did something else. It gave me an opportunity to voice my vision. Because up until that point, I knew in my head what I was doing. I wasn't really sharing recipes. I was teaching people to be creative, and it wasn't a recipe. And until somebody stopped me and questioned me and said, what are you doing? That doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? I hadn't really formed my idea of what I was doing. I didn't really have a direction. So I'm going to say that my first pause and my very first haters, who they made fun of me. They called me Dori, Unicorn Sparkle Poop Lady. So I branded unicorn because they're not wrong. They're not wrong. But until we have the opportunity to say, hey, you don't understand what I'm doing and you need to take a little time to try to understand that, I wasn't even sure of what I was doing. I'm grabbing us some more berries, by the way. So at the end of the day, I think I thank my haters even more than the people who have supported me along the way, because they gave me the opportunity to really, really reassess what I was doing. If all of the feedback I ever got was positive and great, and we love you, Dori, you're awesome, it never would have given me a moment to pause and really think about what matters to me. What am I sharing that nobody else is? What do we do differently here than you get anywhere else? And I would say here we do everything out of a fun base. We hang out together, we don't judge each other, we learn together, and I feel like it's a very safe place where we can talk about anything. We can talk about food, we can talk about depression, we can talk about anxiety, we can talk about our exes, we can talk about our kids, we can talk about our self-love and the strides that we're making with that. And that isn't something that you find just anywhere. But had I taken that advice back in December and just stopped making videos. I wouldn't have grown. What I do wouldn't have changed. And I never would have met any of you. Like, at the end of the day, how much lesser would my life have been if I allowed someone else's opinion about me make a difference? And it wasn't a formed opinion. They didn't know anything about me. They didn't watch the content. So why let it affect me? It's a good question. Why did I cry about it for 3 days? Well, I'm weak. and also, I never really thought anybody would dislike a video about making muffins. Like, I made it and I thought I was the queen of the world. Like, queen of the world. I'll tell you what. Oh my goodness. We have new Keto Fit official bar hanging out. We are going to review their new bars. They're going to send us some and we're going to get to check them out. And I'm super excited. I want you guys to go look at their information. I'll make a post so you can see. I'm really excited to try a new bar. You guys love new stuff. I love new stuff. It works. So, what else are we going to chat about today? If you guys have started your own keto page or your own keto group, I'm curious, have you encountered anything like that? And let's maybe talk about those sort of assumptions a little bit. Because when I rarely do, I don't talk about the drama very often, but when I rarely do, people say things like, but you're so sweet, Dori. How could anybody be mean to you? and you know what? People aren't always nice back to you. That's the bottom line. But at the end of the day, we only have control over how we react. We don't get to control what other people think. And I heard something that kind of made me laugh. And I think about it, and I think it's probably pretty true. Other people's opinions of me, not my business. Right? At the end of the day, does it really matter? Does it matter what they think of you? Does it matter if they believe in your vision and where you're going? As long as you don't let them slow you down. And what I have learned, as a child, I rode bike a lot in the winter. And I always learned that when you hit that ice, as long as you didn't break, you also didn't fall down. As long as you kept a steady momentum, then nothing ever really seemed to break your stride. And I have found it the same way in this last year and a half with keto. If I'm approaching an obstacle and I'm starting to slow down and I'm starting to panic and I'm starting to think, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be hard for me. I better slow down and take this at a slower pace. Or I can know that I've got an obstacle coming up. I can pick up speed and you can hit that like a ramp. So it's up to you to decide every day. Will you be limited by what other people think? Or will you do what you want to do? And it's easier for me to say it than it is for me to do it. I will tell you guys a secret. I began in January full of passion and deciding that I would be me and I would dance it out and I would do Dori all the way around and I would just be me. And I did that for a while. I really did, like with all the passion and all the fury that is a Dori, I did that. And then something happened. I started hearing that chatter. It's too much, Dori. You're not serious enough. You're too silly. You know, fun is fun, but it's too much. Tone it down. Tone it down. And I think I unintentionally did that. Not intentionally. It was not something that I did on purpose. But when I look at some of my recent videos over the last few months, I can see a little bit of that influence leaking in. You know, the little old ladies who don't want to watch me dance before they get my free recipe. Oh well. Oh well, dancing is what I do. So I think that going to Las Vegas reawakened my Dori. I think it really did. And you know what? In this world, there are a million styles of things that you can get in a million different ways. I'm not the only person who's developed a keto pancake recipe. If you don't want to dance while you eat your pancakes, oh well. Here we dance while we eat pancakes. I don't know what to tell you. Here we dance. And I think I've come to the decision that this is me. And you know what? A toned down version of me isn't really me. I joke with my friend Jared all of the time from Alterna Sweets, and he tells me I'm not basic beige keto with Dori, and that's for a reason. And I think that it's important when you have a vision and when you have a direction to always be mindful to be true to you, because everyone's going to have an opinion. They're either going to like what you do or they're going to don't like what you do. They're going to be verbal about it or they're not. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one I have to make happy. And if I know that I turn on my channel and I had a good time, even if not one person watches it, even if nobody enjoyed the recipe, even if nobody had a good time, I enjoyed it. I had a good time, right? And I think that's got to be the key. Keto Official says, I need a black light for my kitchen to tune it up. I do have one. And you know what? The lights were an accident too. There was a time in my boring kitchen when there was no lights. Could you imagine? Let's turn them off for a moment just to have a moment of silence for the lights and the beauty that is this. How boring is this? Like, really? Hi, I'm Dori. Back then, I was going to name my channel The Keto Corner, out of the corner where all of my ingredients took over my space. And it was going to be this. It was going to be us hanging out in my kitchen, and we were just going to talk and visit, and we weren't really planning on having that much fun. And then one day, I decided it was karaoke Thursday night. We turned on the lights. We danced, we sang, and everybody loved the lights. And I thought, well, you know what? I believe my page says bringing light, color, and love to your kitchen. I believe it says so. So from then on, we did the lights. And for a while, I only did the lights while I cooked in the kitchen and not while I did Q&A interviews. And back then, I was regularly doing Monday Motivation with Dr. Ken Berry. And he said to me, Dori, where's my lights and my dancing? And I said, well, Dr. Ken, that is not very professional. And he said, but I don't get lights and dancing. That's not very professional, Dori. So from that day on, we moved our serious Q&As that were at the kitchen table, and we have them where we have our most fun in the kitchen under the lights. And I think it's really made a difference in the people that we chat with too. And they always have fun. I love the look of meeting somebody new who hasn't seen our format before, and they're just like, oh, the lights though. I love them. And I really do love them too. I can't lie. I think next year for KetoCon, I think I'm gonna bring my light with me. It's portable. I'm portable. It just plugs into the wall. It would plug into any wall. Set myself up in a corner. Get my lights going. Everybody will know I'm there. Do you think they'll mind? I don't think they'll mind. Oh, that's the Dori corner. Go to your corner. Oh, and all the kids will get to hang out at my corner, just saying, like, you know, we'll have our own corner. We'll have fun. And people will be like, what are all those lights? Oh, that must be Dori. That must be Dori. When we went to KetoCon last year, I met Nancy at the airport, and she heard me before she saw me, and she was like, that must be Dori. I am quite loud. And sometimes people say to me, oh, I'm sorry, I was eavesdropping. And then I say, you're not eavesdropping, I'm just loud. And then we have the most fun chat. Because I think too many of us live too reserved. I think too many of us live that way for too long. Inside of my fat suit, I just was praying that nobody would notice me. Like, every day I focused on becoming less visible, becoming less Dori, becoming less loud, less boisterous, less fun. All of those things that garnish you the attention you didn't want. And I say, you know what? We lived in black and white. we did that. We lived in the black tent dress. We hung out with people who made us feel lesser. And I say, let's don't do it anymore. It's just that easy. Instead, let's eat pancakes. Yay, pancakes. So, what do you guys want to chat about tomorrow? Tomorrow we have Getting Over the Hump. I already know what we're talking about on Thursday. Thursday is Spill the Tea. And we are going to chat about my favorite Las Vegas security guard. He was awesome. He was so awesome. And we're going to talk all about him and his great awesomeness. And the most interesting time that I had in Vegas. Yeah, I wasn't really planning to get harassed by a security guard, but that happened. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday. And maybe why he harassed me, I don't know. Maybe. We might get into that. And we might even tell the fun post office story on Thursday, because I think there's a little tea in there too. It involved lots of walking, getting lost, and a lady with no shirt on. Not me, but a lady. I think that's going to be a lot of fun chat on Thursday. I've been saving up that story, I'll tell you what. And I don't even need to make up a fake name, because he never told me his name. Supervisor. So, we're going to chat about my favorite supervisor on Thursday, and how I was this close to calling the police on a security guard. Like, oh goodness. You have to bring the stories home with you from Vegas, because, you know, if you don't share it, it never happened. And we did, oh my goodness, if you have not seen all the videos from Vegas, you must go back and watch. We had the most fun down Fremont Street. We danced, we laughed, we met strangers, we got photobombed, we went to White Castle and had our own buns and barbecue sauce. We got photobombed there too. It was awesome. I felt very much like Harold and Kumar. Very schmancy. We went out to eat at Subway, and I showed you guys how we could eat something there. It just was a lot of fun. Like, you guys got to do a lot of great things with me. We had a ton of giveaways, and each of those companies I had an unboxing, and we took fun pictures of their products around Vegas. I literally can't wait to do it again. Like, I don't know when we're going to do it again. I know for sure I'm working with a friend, fingers crossed, very beginning planning. We're going to plan a big event in Vegas next year. So an actual convention that you guys can come to, and it's going to be everything. Like, my imagination, her imagination, it's going to be a good time. We're planning a whole kid zone and everything. Like, for our keto kids, they want to play, they want to have fun, they want to learn about healthy foods too. Now, for some reason, I am dripping a little bit, so let's, smooth, Dori, smooth. Since the environment change of Vegas too, let's talk a little bit about that. My skin is dry, my nose is runny, and I developed dandruff. What? Environmental changes. So some of these things that we encounter don't even have anything to do with keto. If I hadn't been keto long enough and I noticed these changes in my body in a week, I might think I was doing something wrong. I was eating too many carbs, or I wasn't in enough ketosis, or something else was going on. And we are going to talk next Monday with Dr. Jeremy Thornton about that. And we're going to talk about some of the misinformation and keto myths. Like, for example, I remember when I first started keto, every time I had a little patch of dry skin, I was like, oh my God, I have the keto rash. I'm going to die from that, because it's the keto rash. And I never had the keto rash. It's actually a pretty serious thing that I have never personally seen. I've had a lot of people message me and say, oh my God, Dori, I think I have the keto rash. And they'll send me a picture, and it'll be a patch of dry skin, or it'll be a little bit of eczema, or it'll be an allergic reaction to something. But I personally have never seen a case of keto rash. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and I'm not saying it's not serious. But we need to learn the differences between every new buzzword that we hear and small changes in our body. You will get patches of dry skin from time to time that will come and go. Might not be a keto rash, but it's important to look into what the actual symptoms are and look that up. Because every time somebody runs away and says, "Oh my God, I've got keto rash. I better quit doing keto. I better eat some carbs because I've got this rash." It might not be a keto rash. Oh goodness, the keto crotch. That's the newest, right? Like, hit him in the crotch. Hit him in the crotch. Because everybody's concerned about that. Like, nobody wants funky junk. I even saw a meme that says nobody wants to play with a stinky kitty. And that's the truth, right? Get them where it hurts. Get the misinformation out there. I remember when I started keto, the big thing was hair loss. Oh my God, if you start keto, you're going to lose a bunch of your hair. Just so you know. I mean, you might be thin, but you're probably going to be bald. And nobody likes thin, bald people anyways, so you better just stay fat. Right? Or my favorite, you know, when you go off keto, you're just going to gain all that weight back, so you may as well not bother. Okay. That one totally makes sense too. So next Monday, we're going to talk to Dr. Jeremy about some of those things. So if you guys want to make a list of some of the keto myths that you would like to debunk, we'll talk about the keto flu. And yes, you can get symptoms, but you can avoid them too. So what do you do about that? What's true? What's not true? How can we avoid some of the pitfalls of keto, and how do we make it easier? I'm really excited to have that chat. And yeah, although nobody really wants to talk about the keto crotch thing, I think that's why they did it in mass, right? Like, this was not an accident. This was a well-planned media attack on keto. They paid certain people to say it. They paid certain studies to be made, and they blasted it out all at once because it didn't leak through, right? Like, all of a sudden one day everybody's like, "Oh my God, keto crotch," and you're like, "But that's a thing? I've never heard of that before. I've been like a year and a half and I've never heard of that." I have heard a few people say that in the very beginning, the same as you get the ketone breath, where your breath changes and it smells a little differently. I have heard people say that they experienced a slightly different odor for a couple of days, the same as your breath evens back out, right? But let's look at this realistically and say, what feeds yeast? Yeast feeds off of sugar. So are you more likely to have a malodor with or without sugar? Are you more likely to have infections with or without sugar? So it's kind of a moot argument, because the argument itself doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense that eliminating sugar from your diet would make you smell poorly. It just doesn't. Like, it just doesn't. A plane just pulled up, too loud to hear. I'll catch up with you later. Love you. And you know what? I've heard very, very few people say that they had this issue. And the people that I've spoken to who have had this issue, it literally leveled itself out as soon as they cycled off the sugar and carbs. Because like anything else, your body is slightly revolting, right? Like, are you sure you want to take away the sugar? Because we really like sugar. Like, we like some sugar around here. So your body might revolt a little bit. But the keto crotch, no. Like, it does not make any sense whatsoever. And for the ladies in the crowd, we all know that varies throughout the month as it is. Like, it's not always the same depending on where you are in your cycle. So I think that maybe somebody was having a bad crotch day. I don't know. And they thought, wow, what better way to discourage people from keto? Wait, oh my goodness, oh God. Oh my God. Oh, you know what's going to be next? Just wait until they come out with keto causes erectile dysfunction. Yeah, that one, because that one totally makes sense too, right? It would like I don't know, limit your blood flow and stuff, and then your junk wouldn't work. So, if you're looking for a very valid argument, I have a feeling that's going to be the next one. Oh my goodness, quick, Crystal! Research how keto helps with blood flow. Oh, if they're going to hit us where it hurts, hit them back in the crotch. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to say the loving around my house, better with the keto. I'm just saying, I got more energy. I'm more flexible. I have more energy. And I have more energy. I am pretty sure that keto would help fix erectile dysfunction and all of the other things that ail us. Let's talk a little bit about that to close up. I have no idea how much time we have left because I have not been paying attention. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how keto helped my depression and how I never thought it would. Now, I know a lot of you just watch me, so you would never imagine that I had any depression. Let's see, Wanda says, Dr. Barry said last night in liver company, a liver company hired them, yes, to come up with the keto crotch. Jimmy Moore did a live about that too, and they exposed an advertising company that works for Weight Watchers, Barilla Pasta, and some other big foodie company. So again, I'm not shocked. They have the deep pockets, right? They know where to hit us. They know which influencers to speak to. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't pay Miss Jillian more, Miss Jillian to say stuff all about it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hello, food for winners. Oh, look there's not much left because I ate most of it, but look at our last leftover fluffy pancake. Dori already ate the other two, and there was butter on them too, but it's all melted. So when I reheat that one, more butter. More butter. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the unexpected things. I did not expect that keto would help with my depression. Now, I was diagnosed in my early 20s with what they used to call dysthymia, which is basically long-term depression disorder. So when they diagnosed me, they basically told me that this is just my life. This is just who I am. I have a depressive personality. I am an unhappy person. Medication won't help me on the long-term regular. Psychotherapy might be helpful. During deep times of depression, medication might help. But they explained to me that my issue was not a chemical imbalance. I was not wired wrong. I didn't need medication. I just flat out was an unhappy person. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Dori is just an unhappy person, but I was unhappy, and it didn't take a lot of things to set me off. I could have one bad thing happen to me in the morning, and I could fixate on that, and I could focus on that for 3 days and make the next 3 days miserable because so-and-so did such and such to me on Thursday morning, and I'm still upset about it. I had periods where I just didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't. After my mother died especially, I didn't want to get out of bed. There were things that I had to get up and I had to do and I had to live daily life, but I didn't enjoy them. I didn't expect that keto would change those things. Again, I didn't research keto before I started. I watched a video, it looked like it made sense, and I was like, I'm in. This sounds like fun. I will do this. I really only probably intended to do it for like a week. And now here we are, a year and a half later. Hi, I'm Dori. I'm the keto obsessed lady. I have a hard time having normal conversations in public. I do. I have a hard time talking about things that are keto. But it is what it is, because I never imagined being free of those symptoms. And I never even realized it happened. Just one day I woke up and I didn't feel miserable. And it took me a little while to recall the last day that I felt miserable. And Crystal's not wrong. It was bacon. Like, I literally, bacon sold me on keto. I was watching a miserable video of some diet guy whose face I hated. And then something magical happened and he said, bacon. And I was like, hello, Big Daddy. Tell me more about this bacon you speak of. I do like me some bacon. And I won't lie, that was it. Dori, bacon. I swear one day I'm just going to walk around with a sign that says, bacon changed my life. And then just walk around. And make friends. I think we'll get a sign like that for KetoCon that says, bacon changed my life. Tell me more, Dori. Tell me more. or a t-shirt that says, hey, Big Daddy, tell me more about that bacon. Oh my goodness. Oh, because who couldn't love it, right? And when I started, I really didn't know that much about keto. I knew that I was to eat low-carb vegetables, and that was it. Like, that was my base of knowledge when I began, and I was super smooth. I didn't know that keto was a thing. Like, I didn't know there was Facebook groups. I didn't know there was, what, there's Instagram for this? Other people do this stuff? What? What? I had no clue. None. Like, I was keto, and I put that in brackets because, let's be honest, before I really started researching and learning a lot, what I thought was keto-esque at best. It was, if it fits my macros, sort of, kind of, if I feel like eating it, and if I don't want to cut that out. That's what it was for 6 months. Because I was doing it by myself, and I didn't know that there was a knowledge base to be had and to be shared. And when I first dipped my toe into Facebook groups, you meet the good, the bad, and the ugly right away. Like, man, does that hit you like all right in the face? The first group I was in, I was like, wow, these guys are not very nice. And it was even a Canadian group where people should be friendly like, and I was like, wow, that is not very Canadian of you. You are not very friendly. So good, bad, and ugly, we all get to weigh through that. And Crystal and I were talking this morning about the time and the value that we invest. And I understand when somebody is brand new, how you would say, can somebody just do it for me? Tell me what to eat, tell me what to do, give me a meal plan, give me the information, and I'll just on my way and I'll do it. And in theory, that's an amazing idea. There are coaching programs that you can pay for that do that. But the reality is, it took me a year, a full year, to amass all of that knowledge, to wrap my brain around what should I eat, what should I avoid, what substitutions can I make, how can I swap this for that. None of it is instant knowledge. None of it is instant knowledge. And if you want someone to help you and just hand it to you on a silver platter, at the end of the day, that's going to cost you some monies. Like, let's be honest, because that person invested days, weeks, months, years into researching to be able to put that all together in one spot for you. So we were talking a little bit about, what part is my responsibility? What part do I need to do for myself? People can be a jumping off point for your knowledge, but at the end of the day, we are each responsible for our own health. We are each responsible for our own research. As a community, we can double down and we can make the best uses of our resources, and we can research and we can learn together. But at the end of the day, no one person is going to be able to tell you what is your keto. Because I think my favorite thing about this way of eating is it is 1,000,000% customizable. The things that work for your body, you can include. The things that don't work for your body, you can exclude. And there are versions of everything. So I want to say, if you're new, or if you're struggling, or if you're just kind of, you're on the fence and you're thinking, well, but nothing else has worked. And I'm going to tell you what, let's all raise our hands. Everybody who nothing else worked for. Like, if you spent 30 plus years of your life being fat and pretending that you loved it. If you tried every diet under the sun and you still gained weight, if you are at the point where you think, dear God, if one more person says I can lose 20 pounds and then I don't, I'm gonna cut them. I will cut them. Then maybe this is the point where we find keto together. Because if nothing else has ever worked, and nothing else kept you satisfied, and nothing else ever felt like it was a good fit for you, then raise your hand, because that was me. I didn't like diets. You can't say diet without die. Hello. Like, dying. They don't put that in there for nothing. It's because it's miserable. And it's because you're going to hate it. And it's because by day 3, you're going to hate yourself. And I did. I was like, wow, you could have a donut, but no, someone wants to be healthy. And I spent a lot of time punishing myself for deciding that I wanted to be healthy, instead of looking for the things I wanted to eat to make me healthy. And I think that for a lot of us, food becomes this really weird entity. And I'm going to call it an entity because it's just food. Like, it's just food. Eat it or don't. Put it on your plate or don't. But so much of my life was controlled by food that I really feel like food was my abusive boyfriend for the last 40 years. Like, every time I tried to make an effort, he'd be like, oh, but honey, you look so good fat like that. Everybody likes a fat girl. They're funny. Everybody likes a fat girl. And my identity changed when I wasn't the funny fat girl anymore. When you're no longer the biggest person in the room and you have spent your whole life making a personality to fit your size. Yes. And I think a lot of us do that. I think a lot of us find ourselves inside of boxes we never intended to live. You know, maybe you thought, I'll do that one time, and then all of a sudden, well, you know, people just expect that of you. That's what you do. So I say, let's think outside of the box. Let's decide our own lives, decide what's going to work for us and what's not, and stop living in a world where other people get to decide. Because I lived a lot of my life where other people decided if I was good enough, if I was smart enough, if I was worthy of their attention. All of these things that I allowed other people to decide about my life. And at the end of the day, is making yourself happy what matters. Self-care, self-love, making yourself happy first. Because like on the airplane, if you are not happy, then I guarantee you, if you are like me, that no one within a 5-mile radius of you is happy. So I'm going to say focus on making you happy first, and the people around you will follow. But the same as with the air mask, you can't help somebody else until you help you. You can't share that happiness and that joy for life until you feel it. So I say, let's share that. And if you're looking for somewhere to absorb that feeling, this is where you go. And together, we're going to work on that. And we're going to do all those things together. And the people who say that's not food related, psh, we're eating food while we do it. That totally makes it related. Whatever. Relatable. So, I love you guys. I'm going to put syrup on my last pancake and show you guys what it looks like. And then I'm going to sign out and have my snack before I pick up Jacob. But look at that beautifulness. And when somebody says to you, oh, I wish I had that kind of willpower, or man, I really couldn't stick to a diet, then you just need to remind them that it's only a diet if you don't like it. It's not our diet, it's our lifestyle. And look at what we're doing. We're eating pancakes. I'm just saying, we're eating pancakes. So, let's get our dancey song back, because it's raining tacos. And then, I'm going to take a little break for the day. I have videos and stuff to make for you guys too. I'm just kidding. I'm not actually taking a break. Dori doesn't do that. I love this part. Raining tacos. See you guys tomorrow, and we're gonna get over the hump. 4 times.